didn't make subscribe on the Dallas Cowboys Nation, please make subscribe. Today, let's talk about Dallas Cowboys' latest news on preseason transfer, injury and the low-star battle, and Jerry Jones, who can make another next move before the season it starts. So, the Dallas Cowboys have already made several important moves this offseason, and the latest development suggests that Jerry Jones is not finished by trying to improve this roster. But the Dallas Cowboys are still on the trading another next players that will use in 2026 and 27 regular season. So, but today let's start about the Cowboys ready for today match between the Arizona Cardinals. The biggest immediate story is the Cowboys preseason matchups against the Arizona Cardinals today on August 2022. The Dallas will travel to State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona for the second preseason game of the year, and the game is scheduled at 9 p.m. at Central Time. So the Cowboys have been opening their preseason with victory over Seattle Seahawks 17-7, and now coaching staff has another opportunity to evaluate players fighting for a roster position. One of the biggest players to watch is an undrafted rookie wide receiver, Camden Brown. So Camden Brown made a major impression in the preseason match opener by catching 2 touchdowns, and the Dallas wants to see whether he can continue to puff that momentum against the Arizona Cardinals. The backups quarterback competition is also becoming interesting. So Joe Milton impressed the first preseason game, completing 12 to 15 passes for 107 yards and touchdowns. Also, Sam Howard is also competing for the backup job behind a Dak Prescott, so every preseason snap could matter. Cowboys fans should not expect a Dak Prescott to play in the preseason because a head coach Brian Schottenheimer announced earlier in a training camp that most of the Cowboys startup would be held out during the preseason, and the objective is to protect a key player while giving a young player and a roster competitor a valuable NFL experience. That means the preseason is less about winning and more about discovering which players deserve to be parts of the final 53-man roster. For a Dak Prescott, the focus is already on the regular season and finally pushing this Cowboys team deeper into the playoff run. Dak Prescott recently described a training camp as the successful, while also making it clear that the team will have plenty of work to do. The last week, Von Miller have finally announced in Dallas Cowboys as the biggest recent addition. Now, let's talk about the biggest pieces of the Cowboys news today. The Dallas Cowboys signed the veteran pass rusher Von Miller to a 1-year contract. The deal is reportedly worth about $5 million. This is a major addition because Miller brings experience, leadership, and the proven history of getting to the quarterback. The 37-year-old Texas native enters his 15th NFL season. He also, Von Miller, he has 138 career sacks, and it remained the NFL active career sacks leader. Last season with Washington, Miller recorded a 9 sacks dispute, playing only 420 defensive snaps. So the Cowboys are hoping Miller can provide the veterans presence of the defense that is built under defensive coordinator Christian Parker. Miller is not expected to be a lasher into preseason action, but the Dallas wants him to gradually get back into a football shape after not playing since January. For the Cowboys fans, however, his arrival is exciting because the Dallas now has another experienced pass rusher who can help to create a pressure in important games. Jerry Jones has publicly said the Dallas remain open to making substantive move if the right opportunity become available. Jerry Jones explained that the Cowboys could do or use a future salary caps, resources, draft capital, or trade assets if they believe another player could immediately improve the team. This does not mean Cowboys are guaranteed to make another trade, but it does mean fans should not assume the roster is finished. Jerry Jones has demonstrated recently that he is willing to make aggressive moves. Dallas traded Micah Parsons to a green buy for the 2 first-round picks and Ken Clark, while the Cowboys also acquire Quinnen Williams at the trade deadline last season. So if another opportunity appears before the regular season, the Cowboys could potentially make another move. So for the Quinnen Williams, he is ready to get his contract extension. Defensive tackle Quinnen Williams signed 3 years contract extension that keeps him in the Dallas until 2030 season. This is extremely important for the Cowboys because Williams is expected to be one of the foundation of the defense for years to come. So the Dallas is clearly building its defense identity around experienced veterans and young talent. The combination of Quinnen Williams, Lashan Gary, Von Miller, and young defensive player could give a Christian Parker much stronger group to work with. The Dallas entered the offseason knowing that its defense needed more pressure after the departure of the Micah Parsons. Instead of relying on one superstar, the Cowboys are trying to build a deeper pass rusher with multiple players who can attract opposing quarterbacks, and that philosophy could become especially important during a season because offenses can focus heavily on one pass rusher. With a Gary and Miller available, Dallas has more options, and the Lucky safety Caleb Downs is another name Cowboys fans should remember. The Dallas selected Downs with 11th overall picks in the 2006 NFL Draft, and expectations are extremely high. Downs brings speed, football intelligence, and versatility to a secondary. The Cowboys have also added other young defensive talent, including first-round picks Malachi Lawrence and linebacker Jashon Barham. Barham missed the preseason opener because of the minor groin injury. He's affected with the groin injury, but he returned to practice and was expected to have a chance to make his preseason debut against Arizona Cardinals. Injury are becoming one of the biggest concerns as the Dallas approaches second preseason match and the roster cards So, a running back Jadon Blue has been dealing with a shoulder injury. Philadelphia as Israel Abanikanda have also dealt with a rib injury, while the defensive tackle Jonathan Burad has been dealing with a hamstring problem. So, the running back competition is particularly interesting. Throughout the first half, helping a Dallas to build a commanding lead before a halftime. By the end of the first half, the Cowboys had scored 24 points, while the Arizona had managed only 6. So that's why the Dallas Cowboys have been won against the Arizona Cardinals 34. So, also, running back Malik Davis was another player who benefited significantly from the game. Davis consistently produced a positive yardage and scored a touchdowns while also showing an important skills that coaches value from the backup running back pass protection. Dallas Cowboys reporters highlighted Davis' ability to pick up a blitz and give Hamilton additional time in the pockets. That the combination of flashing production and pass protection could be extremely important as the Cowboys finalized their running back depth chart. The performance strengthened Davis' case in the competition for the Cowboys left back Lord. So also the Cameron Brown provide a huge play like in the preseason opener game. Wide receiver Cameron Brown also had a memorable night. A Brown block loose for spectacular 70-yard touchdown play, giving a Cowboys another explosive offensive momentum. And his performances is particularly important because Dallas has several receivers competing for a roster positions behind established names such as C.D. Lamb and George Pickens. For young receivers, preseason games are about more than statistics, so every big catch, slot block, and special teams contribution can influence the coaching staff when final roster decisions are made. A Brownie's big play certainly gave the Cowboys another reason to continue evaluating him closely. While the offense received most of their attention, a Dallas defense also played a major role in the victory. The Cowboys forced Arizona into a difficult situation throughout the game, and the rookie cornerback Shavon Levo Jr. made another impressive play by intercepting a Carolina drive early in the game. Levo has been generating attention during a training camp and preseason, and another interception only, which increased the excitement surrounding his potential. A rookie linebacker Joshua Bellingham also made his preseason debut and immediately showed the physicality that the Dallas hoped to see from him. His early tackle for the loss was one of the defensive highlights of the opening quarters. The Cowboys also received pressure from the players such as LT Overton, who recorded a sack during the game. And after Milton's impressive first half, Sam Howell took over the quarterback for the Dallas. So the Howell completed 70% of his passes but finished with only 65 passing yards and 1 interception, producing 47 pass rating. That performance created an interesting situation for the Dallas Cowboys, and the Milton has now put together multiple strong preseason performances while Howell is still trying to show that he can provide reliable depth behind a Dak Prescott. With a low-star decision approaching, every remaining practice and preseason opportunity become increasingly important. Dallas takes control early, and the Cowboys establish the control from the opening quarters. Dallas scored 14. Dallas scored 14 points in the first quarters and added another 10 in the second, and entered the halftime with 24-6 advantages. And Arizona managed to respond with a touchdown with the third quarter, but the Dallas answered with another score in the fourth, close out of 34 to 13 of victory against the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals were unable to create enough consistency